Welcome to Alta Survival and Preparedness. My name is Mike Gardner, and today we're taking a look at the Survival EDC pouch. Please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. I want to state my purpose clearly. This is not to scare you. My intent is to encourage you and the people you care about to carefully consider what you would do in this situation. Even though the likelihood of this scenario is rather low, I feel it's unwise to dismiss it completely. I'm asking you to be honest with yourself and consider the implications of this or a similar event. As you saw in the opening scene, an unknown electromagnetic event affected the operation of the vehicle and the cell phone. So first of all, would you and your family be prepared for an event like this if you were, say, 10 miles away from home? What about 20 miles or more? If you are healthy, well hydrated, and dressed appropriately, you may be able to travel 10 miles back home in 3 to 4 hours. What about other family members? Are they prepared? What percentage of Americans do you think are prepared for an EMP strike or a severe solar event? Very few. Estimates suggest that the vast majority of Americans are not adequately prepared, with some sources indicating that less than 1% of the population is truly ready to handle the immediate or long-term consequences of an EMP attack. And that's according to the U.S. Naval Institute. The same is true for drivers that may get stranded on the highway during a winter storm. In January of 2022, according to the Virginia Department of Transportation, hundreds of drivers were stranded on I-95 for more than 24 hours as the state was hit by an unexpected snowstorm. So what does it take to be prepared? Today we're going to focus on one of these specific survival components, the Survival EDC pouch. This is a pouch that stays with you most of the time, but along with this, I want to talk about some of the variables that can be real challenges. You may understand this very well and even be quite prepared for it. And if that's the case, who do you know that needs your help to get prepared? This type of event would have an enormous impact on daily life, especially if you were away from home at the time of the event. Here's the reality. The contents of this bag may do nothing for you, or it may save your life. If you're about to click out of this video, I challenge you to give me just a few more minutes and consider what if. Ask yourself, what if I could have taken just a couple of easy steps, just in case, in the unlikely event that X might happen? You fill in the blank. There are several scenarios in my life that I've asked, what if I had just put in a little more effort to be prepared for or to prevent a situation? I'm not one usually to focus on the past, but I do want to learn from it. We're going to take a quick look at the big picture and then zoom in and focus on some of the most important aspects of a survival EDC pouch. In the video, what did I do? I grabbed water and my survival EDC pouch and added those to my get home bag. Did I take too much? Not if I had a 20-mile trek to get home. Your number one goal is to get home, but there are several variables that you need to consider. We'll list those variables right now, but as we do, please keep your focus on these two things. Take only what you need and get home as fast as possible. Being far from home necessitates carrying more items than it does if you're reasonably close. For this scenario, let's say you've estimated that you're 10 miles away from home. What are some challenges that you might have in preparing this part of your get home bag? Please contribute in the comments. This is an important topic, and I think differing perspectives are helpful. I also recommend grabbing some paper and a pen because this exercise should generate some ideas for your kit. I think one of the common issues is overpacking your survival kit. An efficient and planned out survival kit can eliminate a lot of the difficulties that arise from carrying excessive weight from unnecessary items. Also, not having enough and leaving yourself vulnerable. Many people underestimate the importance of being prepared for emergencies like this, leaving themselves vulnerable when they need to get home safely. If that's you, start now with adding at least a backpack, some water bottles, and walking shoes to your vehicle. Do you have kids that drive or elderly parents? You'll probably need to put those things in the car for them. It's hard enough to convince a teenager to take a coat with them in the wintertime, just in case they need it. Other challenges that you might have during this trek are threats from others just trying to get around on foot, and you'll need some defense measures. There's no communication, so you'll want to have a whistle. In urban versus rural settings, how can preparedness vary? And personalizing your bag based on your specific needs. With these cautions in mind, let's explore the essential items that should be included in a survival EDC pouch, and then talk about why they're crucial in survival scenarios. If you remember, I said the main home for this pouch is under the seat of my truck. I can then move it to a sling bag or my computer bag, depending on what I'm doing for the day. And of course, I would move it to my get home bag in this scenario, so it has multiple uses. There's an upcoming video on the get home bag. This will go more into detail about what to leave in or what to take out of the backpack based on the travel distance. But this survival EDC pouch stays the same for all scenarios, so it has to be versatile. As far as the get home bag basics go, I've broken this into two options. The fine details will be different for everyone, but let's look at the basic outline here. As you look at this graphic, some of these survival and preparedness category badges that you see may be familiar. I use these to identify the topic of the videos, so they'll be on the thumbnail of a video. You'll see them on the website as they relate to certain articles. There are 3 sections that represent the 3 parts of the get home bag. To make quick sense of this, take a look at the middle section, section 2. In the opening scene of this video, I gathered some supplies from inside the truck, including the survival EDC pouch, and added that to my get home bag. The items from sections 1 and 3 were already loaded in my bag. Before we look at the contents of the survival EDC kit, let's quickly cover these short and long trek options. For the short trek option, maybe 10 to 15 miles or less, we have food. These should be ready to eat items like lifeboat rations or survival food bars. Ideally, you would have some water bottles or clean drinking water to start off with. You should have shoes and proper clothing. For safety and self-defense, consider non-lethal and lethal options. Have a map of local streets for the areas you travel, just to make sure that you take the best walking route. If you're close to home, these are probably all the things you need in addition to the survival EDC pouch. Section 3 includes additional items for a long trek home. You will need to decide if you're going to need these or not. Remember, your goal is to get home as fast as possible. Even if you're 50 miles from home, you'll most likely choose to walk through the night. As far as shelter, you may take a poncho or a tarp type shelter. For fire, you may choose to take a fire kit with additional fire making tools. There are other tools that are necessary for urban and rural survival, as well as survival tools like an axe and a fixed blade. For a first aid kit, you'll need a kit that has more than just moleskin and band-aids like we have in the survival EDC kit. There's also a long-term survival kit. This is more for worst case scenario. That includes fishing line, lures, hooks. If it's conceivable that you won't make it home in one day, you may need some of these items. Since we're talking about being prepared ahead of time, other preparation may be walking several times a week to build up some endurance. This is the level 3 kit that stays in my truck. It goes into my computer bag when I go into the office, or it can go into my get home bag if I need to walk. So as a reminder of the 4 levels of EDC, level 1 is my on-person everyday carry. Level 2 are the additional EDC tools in the pocket pouch. I'll put a link here for the level 1 and level 2 videos. Level 3 are the basic survival tools, which are small amounts of food, water purification, fire making, and so on. And then in the next couple of videos, we'll discuss level 4, which is the urban survival tools. This would be like cable cutters, silcock key, larger tools, and then also the get home bag, and more about how all of these EDC tools work with that kit. On the front, we have the Alta Survival EDC patch. On the front exterior, there's a 2x3-inch loop filled for patches. There's also a mesh slip pocket. This is made of 1000 denier water and abrasion resistant, lightweight, ballistic nylon fabric. It has YKK high strength zippers, Teflon fabric protector for grime resistance. The main compartment is a full clamshell opening with dual zippers. The overall size of this is 5 inches long by 7 inches high by 2 inches wide. There are about 5 different sizes of Maxpedition organizers, and this one is the Maxpedition Fatty. So let's start in the front here. We've got a few pieces of heat shrink tubing that can be for electrical wiring or miscellaneous repairs. For the same price as a small roll of this, you can get a whole box that comes with multiple sizes. Along with everything else, I'll leave a link to that in the description. And then here we have Kevlar kite string. This is used as an escape and evade tool. This is 200-pound test cord, and it's small enough to conceal in your pocket. You want to have about 2 feet more of this string than your height. So if you're 6 feet tall, about 8 feet of string will do. You want to have this prepared with the loop at each end that's large enough to fit around your shoe. So each end has a loop like this. You toss one end over your hand restraints. So if your hands are tied, you're gonna toss it over like this. Put the loops over your feet, and then use a bicycle motion back and forth to cut the restraints off your hands. This works on duct tape and plastic zip cuffs. This cordage is easy to fly with. It doesn't set off detectors or scanners. It's a good tool for escaping illegal restraints. All right, let's look inside. By the way, I purchased all of these tools and everything in the previous video, so nothing has been provided or sponsored. I will leave links to these in the description so you can find all of these products. So starting on this left side, we've got fingernail clippers. There's also a pair of tweezers. They're always handy to have, and they're inexpensive. This is called the Grubbin tool by Ready Hour. This is a 5-in-1 utility spork. It's a spork, sorry, a spoon, a fork, a pry bar, a screwdriver. It has a 6, 8, and 10 millimeter wrench, a bottle opener, and a carabiner. So this actually was pretty inexpensive, so I'll put a link to that as well. This is a 90-degree ratcheting screwdriver. Along with this is a compact 1/4-inch ratchet set that's perfect for one of these minimalist pouches. This makes quick work in small places, or anywhere for that matter. In fact, I used this recently to replace a splash guard or a mud flap on my truck. And I did it with one hand while I was trying to record myself doing it. And it wasn't too bad. This ratchet came in a toolkit with one of my spray guns. So it came with this 3/8-inch socket. This particular one has a 1/4-inch bit driver on one side and the 1/4-inch socket on the other side. So I threw in a small set of bits to go with it. And that's this. Here's a survival whistle. I've said it before, every EDC kit needs a rescue whistle. There's a whistle in the level 2 kit, and in here it's a critical piece of kit, so make sure you have a whistle. This is called the Mighty Bar Pry Tool. This is a stainless steel heavy duty pry bar for EDC. It's made by Gear Spool, and you can use it to turn a screw, open boxes, pry things open. It's just under 3 inches long and weighs an ounce. It's milled from a solid piece of stainless steel. Here we have a 3-inch ferro rod with a stainless steel striker and 550 cord. If you were ever to need it, you'd be glad it's in here. Here we have the Klein Tools electrical snips. These are tough as nails snips or scissors. I prefer to have a pair of these in my survival kit rather than depending on the little scissors in a multi-tool, just because these will cut heavy gauge wire. They only weigh 3 ounces. That's just my preference. There's nothing against multi-tool scissors. Back in my college days, I worked a couple of summers for a large electrical contractor, installing cables, data cables, and phone lines, in hospitals and other commercial buildings. If you don't know what that means, in the old days, we used to plug in our phones and computers into the wall. That way, Sheriff Andy Taylor could pick up the receiver and ask for Sarah, the operator, to connect him with Floyd, the barber. If you know, you know. But getting back to the topic, for me, these snips just bridge the gap between multi-tool scissors and having a pair of wire cutters, and even takes the place of both of them. So chime in the comments and tell me, what have you found to be the most useful in this category as far as scissors and snips, wire cutters, things like that. Here we have a snap hair clip for an escape and evade tool. If you're wrongfully detained, this gives you an option. And I'm pretty sure I have one of these in the pocket EDC pouch as well. Here we have the SOG Power Pint. This is an 18-in-1 multi-tool. I feel like this Power Pint does a pretty good job of providing a lot of the tools that the full-size multi-tools carry. It has 18 tools, including a magnetic bit driver. Of course, with SOG's compound leverage, it has really smooth opening and closing, as well as increased grip power. It's 5 inches long and weighs 4.2 ounces. And then included in those 18 tools, there are things like a serrated blade, a straight blade, a can opener, inch and metric rulers, needle nose pliers. There's a jewelry driver, a hook cutter, 3-sided file, and scissors. If you would be interested in a review type demonstration, leave a comment. If you're interested in some multi-tool comparisons, leave a comment as well. In this left pocket, there's a universal handcuff key attached to this tether. We've got some Bigfoot bushcraft fire plugs. You probably know how to use those. Just fray the end of that and light it. There's some waterproof matches. This is 100% cotton bandana. You can use this for a dusk mask, to cool your neck, a handkerchief, even a triangle bandage for an injury. This is the Timex. The part number is T45181. It's an expedition watch with a nylon strap. It's both analog and digital, so you can set alarms on it or use it for a compass, the compass functions or the compass hack, I guess you'd call it. So this is a backup just in case I'm not wearing a watch when I might need it. And here there's a traditional pencil, simply because these are easy to sharpen. They may be the last thing in America that's still inexpensive currently. Those yellow #2 pencils are only $2.50 for a box of 12. So essentially they've only gone up $1.25 in the last 3 years. So these babies are practically recession proof. You know what I'm saying? A Milwaukee Inksol marker, just a permanent marker for tourniquets, writing messages, marking things and stuff. Here we have the Instafire fire rope tinder, which really is easy to stow. So it's easy to have them in small kits like this. You get quite a bit of tinder that's easy to pack into a small spot. So just cut off a small section and rough it up and use that as a fire starter. Here on the right side, we have another fire starting tool. This is a magnesium pencil sharpener. Use this to sharpen a small stick to create tinder shavings, or shave off some of the magnesium itself and use that for additional tinder. This EDC flashlight is the Fenix E12 V3. It has a bright 200 lumen beam with a range of 85 yards. This one operates with a single AA battery. It has a two-way pocket clip, so you can use it in a pocket or use it as a hands-free light. This is about a $30 light. I usually only spend about $10 or $15 for lights for these EDC kits, but I exchanged my pen light for this shorter pocket carry light because I was adding the Timex Watch and some other things, and it fit a little bit better with the smaller light in it. I'll add a link to the pen light as well so that you have both of those options. Okay, here we have a sharp pick. This pick is from a carburetor cleaning kit. Its picks are always handy to have for tricky little situations, and I just have never used it with my carburetor cleaning kit, so I thought it would be a better fit in here. Here we have the Bic lighter and Exotac FireSleeve. This FireSleeve protects the lighter. I like the orange option because it makes it easy to see, easy to keep track of. There's an integrated strap here that makes this a hands-free. You can also tie the lid to it with some 550 cord. Here we have 12 feet of 550 cord. My preferred brand of this is Atwood. It's made in the United States. When you buy paracord, just make sure that it's rated for 550 pounds. Some of you may find this interesting if it's new information to you, but military spec 550 paracord is this slim nylon rope with 7 inner strands. The strands are nylon, and they're each composed of 2 twisted threads. The inner strands can be unraveled for a lot of different uses, like fishing line or just to get more out of the paracord. You can use the individual strands, but the sheath of this is rated for 300 pounds, and then each of the 7 twisted inner strands are rated for 35 pounds. Those combined give you the 550 pound strength of the paracord. The alternative doesn't have twisted strands inside, so be careful not to use the big box store paracord, or if you do use it, just know that it's not rated for 550 pounds. It's rated for about 150 or 160 pounds. But be aware. Potable aqua water purification tablets. Essentially, you put two of these iodine tablets in a quart of water and wait for 30 minutes. At that point, it's drinkable. Or you can add 2 tablets of this PA Plus to remove the iodine taste and wait for another 3 to 5 minutes before drinking. And then you've got drinkable water. Here we've got a Cliff Bar chocolate brownie. This will help you obviously fight off hunger and keep your energy up when you need it. If you've got it a long distance to walk, or you get caught in your vehicle, or for whatever reason, this is something that you can keep in here and, you know, update it every 6 months or so and make sure you have a fresh one on hand. This is a Fisher Space Pen. This is the backpacker pen with a keychain. This is made with anodized aluminum. It has the pressurized ink. The Fisher Backpack Space Pen will write everywhere, including on wet paper. It'll write upside down, at any angle, underwater. It writes through grease. It writes in extreme temperatures. Spare battery for the Fenix flashlight. These are various sizes of zip ties. Zip ties have like an 18-pound tensile strength, and so these are good for quite a number of repairs. I think these are 4 and 8-inch zip ties. What would a survival kit be without duct tape, right? There's about 3 feet of duct tape. This is about 3 feet of duct tape wrapped around a gift card so that it has a flat profile. Obviously use it for repairs, fire, Tinder, people that don't know when to stop talking. Oh, now I've got to edit that out. Duct tape. Here we have some electrical tape and some flagging tape. People have asked me before, why electrical tape? It simply is an alternative. It's good for labels. It can be used as medical tape. Use it for some repairs. The flagging tape is for marking stuff. It's intended for marking communication lines, I believe, but you can use it to mark your path on a trail, to let someone know where you've been, to help someone find you. Use it as a warning. It can be used for multiple things, so keep some in your survival kit. Got some cash money. I don't know why I put it in a bag, because I don't think money is in too much danger of being water damaged or anything, but it keeps it together. That's probably why I did it. I recommend that you either keep the back of the package from the purification tablets or write down the instructions. It also has it on the bottle, but in the spirit of being prepared, I would suggest having a backup. Instructions. So we've got a Rite in the Rain all-weather universal notebook. This is a 3 1/4 inch by 4 5/8 inch notebook. And this is a battery for the watch. This Timex takes a 2016, so I put a spare in here. I didn't show you the back, but this is MOLLE compatible, PALS. It's the PALS webbing. And that is my Survival EDC Kit. The most crucial insight is understanding that your get home bag is not just a collection of items. It's a lifeline that can ensure your safety and well-being in an emergency. For that reason, I recommend you take some additional time to refine your list so that it fits your needs. What is your key takeaway from this video? What is something that you might change in your preparedness planning? Put it in the comments. Will you use everything in your bag? Of course not. So in summary, having a well-prepared get-home bag can make all the difference in a crisis, equipping you with the means to navigate your way home successfully. My challenge to you is to comment one thing that we talked about that you would not include in your Survival EDC pouch, and one thing that you would, that maybe I missed. Be vigilant and stay ready. If you found this guide helpful, make sure you check out this video from Alta Survival and Preparedness.